Welcome back to Alpha Recap, your end-of-day look at what moved markets. We recorded this after the close, and today we saw a mixed tape with big volume and some search-driven narratives. As always, if you have questions, you can reach us at stockalpha.ai.
Nice to be here. Lots to unpack. Tech showed strength, crypto-linked flows popped, and a tiny name went absolutely bonkers on volume. Classic market split today.
So, what really stands out here is how volume really told the story more than single headlines. Where do you want to start? The big tech action or the crypto ETF?
Let's start with the big one. Nvidia pace for tape. It finished the day up about 1.7% to roughly $201.68, and about 159 million shares changed hands.
Right. And that level of turnover suggests institutional and thematic interest stuck around. Still plenty of appetite for AI and semiconductor-related exposure. Momentum in a name like that tends to ripple through the tech complex.
Exactly. Analysts note a tech halo effect. When a mega cap performs, it can nudge allocations across funds and indexes.
Quick reaction, big name, big volume. Short-term significance, but not the whole story.
Now on the crypto side, the ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF finished up about 2.8% to about $10.63, with roughly 131 million shares traded.
And that was interesting because volume there was elevated. Suggests renewed flows into crypto wrappers, likely tied to spot Bitcoin moves and broader risk appetite.
Right, and when crypto sentiment warmed, we saw flows rotate out of cash into those ETFs and sometimes into riskier equities. So that ETF's move looked flow-driven rather than fundamentals-driven.
Also worth calling out the small cap action. A low-priced small cap name jumped about 4% to $2.31 on really heavy volume, roughly 205 million shares.
That one had no obvious company-specific catalyst. These episodic retail surges can create huge short-term P&L swings.
Yeah, that tracks. So we had concentrated strength in a mega cap, sizable ETF flows into crypto, and a retail-driven pop in a small name. Different engines powering the tape.
So why does volume matter? When price moves happen on heavy volume, it's a sign of conviction. Either humans piled in or algorithms kicked into higher gear.
And conversely, when moves happen on light volume, they're easier to reverse. Execution and volatility increase with highly traded ETFs and low-priced names. Spreads widen, fills vary.
Right, and analysts note that those signals are more important to short-term traders than to long-term investors. But they're still worth watching for anyone monitoring risk.
The number that really caught my eye earlier was how many shares traded in that small name. About 205 million. That's huge for a low-priced stock.
Big move.
Not what anyone expected.
Okay, let's shift to macro narratives. There were two notable Google Trends spikes today. First, searches for Social Security 2027 COLA jumped to about 10,000 searches, up 600%.
And second, searches for the United Arab Emirates in the US also hit about 10,000 searches, up 500%. Both are early attention signals. Not policy or price moves, but they can amplify headlines.
So what really stands out here is how search trends can front-run fundamentals. People look up a topic, media picks it up, and capital can follow even before an official announcement.
Analysts note that COLA interest ties into inflation and consumer spending narratives. If people expect higher cost of living adjustments, that can change retirement income projections and potentially shift spending patterns.
Which could touch consumer staples and bond-sensitive assets. Long-duration fixed income and broad equity allocations sometimes react to those narratives.
Right. And the UAE search spike could presage attention to regional energy moves, or travel and tourism names if news follows. Search interest alone doesn't move prices, but it can be the first step.
Search trends are early signals, not policy announcements. Watch for official Social Security communications, inflation and consumer data, or any UAE government statements to convert attention into market impact.
On healthcare, Ortholine received CE mark clearance under the EU medical device regulation for its handheld orthopedic navigation portfolio. That cleared the way for commercialization in European markets.
Regulatory wins like that are classic catalysts for medtech names. But analysts remind us that approval alone doesn't guarantee immediate revenue. Adoption, distributor deals, and reimbursement come next.
Exactly. So the key follow-ups to watch are distributor agreements, first commercial sales, and regional reimbursement status. Those are the items that usually determine whether a clearance translates into material revenue.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised by the quick regulatory turn there. But again, milestone, not payday.
Quick detour to media and philanthropy. The Lamarco Group is developing an unscripted show called What the F*** Am I Eating? From Courtney Lamarco. If a network picks it up, that could be a licensing or distribution story for any publicly listed media companies involved.
That title will get attention. Content development can be low impact until there's a license or streaming deal, but it does pipeline the asset.
And on ESG and hospitality, the Escoffier Scholarship Foundation is closing in on about $1 million in fundraising after its spring event. For impact-minded investors, those programs can shape reputation and talent pipelines in the sector.
Right, lower in immediate market impact, but meaningful for corporate social signals. It all feeds into narrative and brand strength over time.
Let's pull together the emerging patterns we saw today. Flow-driven market structure with outsized volume across different asset types. Search-driven narratives surfacing before official data. And discrete regulatory milestones in healthcare still mattering.
Diverse appetite too. Institutional interest in mega-cap tech coexisted with retail-led activity in a small name and elevated flows into a crypto ETF. Different cohorts driving different moves.
Right. Analysts note that sustained elevated volume would indicate continuing conviction, while a drop-off could signal a short-term top in any of those names.
A couple of rapid-fire updates for listeners. Nvidia finished up about 1.7% to $201.68, volume around 159 million. The ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF rose about 2.8% to $10.63, volume about 131 million. And that low-priced small cap popped about 4% to $2.31 on about 205 million shares.
Good summary. Also, quick notes. Ortholine got CE mark clearance under EU MDR. Social Security COLA and UAE searches each hit about 10,000 queries and jumped noticeably. Media and philanthropy items are in the background.
So what should people be watching tomorrow? Follow through in volume and price for those three names. If volume stays high, conviction is more likely. Also watch for any official social security commentary, inflation or consumer data, and UAE-related headlines or oil moves.
And don't forget, Bitcoin price action and flows into crypto ETFs will probably matter for those flows. While Ortholine updates on distribution or first commercial shipments in Europe would be a natural next step signal.
Right. Analysts note volume-driven moves increase short-term volatility. That's informational for traders, less decisive for long-term planning, but worth tracking.
Final takeaways. 1. Volume told the day's story. Heavy turnover in a few names drove momentum. 2. Search spikes are early attention signals that can preface headline-driven flow. 3. Regulatory clearances still matter, but follow-through is what creates revenue impact.
And 4. Different market participants drove the tape. Institutions in large tech, flow players in crypto ETFs, and retail in small cap pockets. That fragmentation can mean fast rotations and event-driven noise.
If you tuned in for one line, markets closed with concentrated tech strength alongside flow-driven crypto and retail activity, and search trends added an early macro narrative layer.
Before we go, short little reactions. Yeah, absolutely. Right, good stuff.
Thanks for listening. If you have questions about anything we covered today, head to stockalpha.ai, where you can ask us directly and we'll answer live. For more market analysis and insights, visit stockalpha.ai.
Catch you tomorrow, same time, after the close. Keep notes on volume, search trends, and any follow-up regulatory announcements.